This is part 2 in the Eyes Wide Shut series, The Art of Deception. Where we left off was the moment Bill was excused from the party while speaking with the two models. Bill is taken upstairs to the bathroom where Ziegler is half undressed and this young lady, Mandy, is passed out from a drug overdose and she's naked. So what we are to conclude or assume is that they had sex. And judging from Ziegler's demeanor, he doesn't value her. He seems to have low regard for her. And if she had died, it doesn't seem like he would care too much. Now, these are all assumptions on my part. But what we actually see is Bill walked in to the bathroom with Ziegler half-dressed, Mandy naked, passed out, and the information he received was that she had taken a speedball. That's it. We don't know for a fact if they had sex. We have no idea. And so that's an assumption. On the wall is a painting of a naked woman, and so again, women being objectified seems to be a thing. But it is also in the bathroom. And it's not a sexual picture. It's just a painting of a naked woman, which is not unusual for people to have paintings of naked women in a bathroom. And it's not unusual to have paintings of naked women in a house either. What is unusual is if they are sexual and if they are everywhere. And that doesn't appear to be the case, but we have a limited view of the house. So the fact that the painting is there could mean something or it could mean nothing. My point is with Kubrick's films is that he never clearly states one side or another. He leaves things to your imagination on purpose. And so this whole film is subject to your interpretation. If you believe that these two people had sex, then that's what you will see. We don't know. We don't know. This movie is important right now, particularly for this reason. A lot of this is smoke and mirrors. A lot of this is subject to your perception and your projection, what you impose on it. Bill tells Mandy that she's lucky to be alive. He says, "You're a very lucky girl." And this comes up again later. After the party, Bill and Alice go home and they're standing naked in front of the mirror, making out. And whenever Alice looks into the mirror, she doesn't look happy. Her husband is kissing her, and she looks dissatisfied. So Alice, looking into the mirror, is looking into the other world, magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all? So she's pulling him into the mirror. After a few days of normal life, it becomes clear of their roles. He works in a medical clinic. She's a stay-at-home mom. She takes care of their daughter, Helena. And it's Christmas time, obviously. It's taking place at Christmas time because this is about ascension, rising into Christ consciousness. So she says to him, "How do you feel about wrapping the rest of the presents?" And he says, "Let's do that tomorrow." The television with the football game says, "And here comes the handoff." The next scene is Alice in the mirror getting the Band-Aid box out of the mirror, and they smoke weed. Here comes the handoff. The handoff is the flip. So things are going to flip from here, meaning his perception is going to change. Alice is looking in the mirror in the bathroom, once again between two pillars of two lights, and she goes behind the mirror and pulls out weed. Weed is drugs, which is alchemy. So her and her husband smoke it, literally smoke in mirrors. This is Kubrick indicating to those with eyes to see that this is an illusion. All is not as it seems. His films were not just made to reveal deeper meaning in the story, but to reveal the true perception of the viewer. If you're seeing the illusion, comment below. If you're ready to explore deeper, visit truelove.com. Once Alice gets high, she starts to ask questions about whether he's been tempted to have an affair. The two models at the party, did he have sex with them? So she's challenging his fidelity, and essentially this is him challenging his own. He was tempted by the two models at the party. He walks in the bathroom to see his friend Ziegler in a situation that appears to be him having had sex with this woman who's also on drugs, who's also a redhead. And so this is kind of a repetition of that scene where he considers what would happen, or what would I be like, or what would it be like if I cheated on my wife? What would it be like if I was not loyal to her? And so she's challenging that belief, which is why they're having this conversation. And he's arguing with himself. And he says that he wouldn't cheat on her because he's married to her. So she's interpreting that as like, oh, so the only reason you're loyal to me is out of respect to me, but you really do want to have sex with these models. And so he's having this debate. Well, do I? Is that true? What's happening here? Why am I having this argument with myself? He also tells her that men always want to have sex with women, especially beautiful women, and the only reason that they talk to beautiful women is because they want to have sex with them. And then he says that there are exceptions, and he's an exception because he's married. So the only thing that keeps him from cheating is the fact that he's married. So if he wasn't married, then he would be having sex. But Ziegler's married. He also says that women are not like that. And yet the women at the party contradict this. So he's told himself that women are not like men. Men want to have sex with beautiful women all the time, but women don't think the same way as men. Well, they don't think the same way, but they do think about sex, and women do want sex, which is what Alice's point is. But it's not in the same way as a man. The argument that Bill has about women not wanting to have sex is kind of refuted from the experience he had at the party, because he had these two models try to take him to the end of the rainbow, obviously coming on to him. And then when he went into the bathroom, there was another woman there who was naked, having given him the impression that they had sex. So the evidence externally is showing the opposite, because he's saying that all women don't think like men. And then he says there are exceptions to the men. He doesn't say there are exceptions to the women. And then Alice goes on to say that she has this fantasy with this naval officer, and she was willing to give up everything to be with this naval officer. He's split women into the Madonna and the whore. There are certain types of women who will want to have sex, like the models and the lady in the bathroom. They are the whore type. Whereas he married the Madonna type. He married the pure type. So it's an issue of purity culture, an argument of the masculine perception of dividing women into two categories. But it's stemming from patriarchy, which is why at the beginning of the film you see she is in the middle of the two pillars undressing, because it's a stripping down of the feminine into patriarchy, because when the titles go down, we open on Bill standing between the two pillars, and so now we're in the patriarchal world, and the woman is subordinate to the man. The man made the woman lesser, which is why we're having this conversation in the first place, because she's starting to rise up again, because you can only suppress something for so long before it starts to come back up again. It's just the nature of balance in a dualistic world. And so initially he went to the party, where the party appears to be something on the surface. It appears to be conservative. Everyone's dressed nicely. No one is overtly sexual. It's hidden beneath. Everybody at the party is wearing a mask. Underneath that, though, you have the Hungarian man hitting on his wife. He's aware of it but doesn't say anything because he believes that she wouldn't cheat on him. And then you have the two models who hit on him and invite him to go to the end of the rainbow, which is all speaking in, codes or double entendre. So even then it's sort of hinted at, it's not said directly. And then he's whisked away to the bathroom upstairs to cover up the situation with this model who crashed on drugs, and don't tell anybody, keep it quiet, nothing ever happened. So it's out of the way, it's hidden, it's in the bathroom, it's secret. And so none of this is out in the open. Once Bill goes to the masked party at the mansion, everything is on display. So it's the inverse of this party. And so he's wearing a mask, everyone else at the party is wearing a mask, but everybody knows who he is and they know that he doesn't belong there. And he's an observer at the party. He doesn't actually interact. It's just like him at the other party. So at the first party, he says he doesn't know anybody, and yet everybody's face is out. Everybody there, you can plainly see who they are, but he doesn't know anybody. Then he goes to the masked party, and all the people who are there are masked, so you can't tell who they are, but they can tell who he is. Their identity is masked, but all of their internal behavior is on display with the orgy. The idea, too, that the masculine is dominant over the feminine. And so this conversation that Bill has with Alice is a turning point for him, in which he explores the opposite side of his psyche, where all of the desires and sexualized thoughts are on the outside. Because Alice tells him that she had a fantasy to be with this naval officer. All he can now think of is her with this naval officer, and it's plaguing him. How dare she be unfaithful to me, even if it's just a fantasy, even if it's not actually physically real, she's still unfaithful to me. And it's his ego having trouble reconciling with the feminine being unfaithful, being autonomous, going against what he believes and what he wants for her. She's expressing herself. Like, he has this belief of what Alice is like, his wife, the purity ideal of her being faithful, sitting at home, taking care of the kids, not cheating on him. He doesn't have to worry about it because she never would. And then she shatters all of that by telling him, well, you don't know anything. You don't actually know me. You just have this idea of me and you've superimposed it on me. Well, let me tell you what I actually am like. Let me tell you my inner darkness, because you have to deal with that too if you're going to actually know me. And so this is his exploration into knowing the dark side of himself and knowing the dark side of the feminine. Now, I'm not going to show it, but Alice is talking about all of this wearing white, showing the purity feminine. However, the white that she's wearing is transparent and it's underwear. So she's essentially baring herself. She's stripped down. She is transparent. In this moment, he gets a phone call telling him that this elderly gentleman has died. And he goes over there. There's a woman there who is the daughter, and she also has red hair, and she also hits on him. There are multiple women in this movie with red hair because they all represent his wife, Alice. Alice is not real. Nobody is real. There are no other people. This is all happening in Bill's head. This is all a dream. That's made clear at the very end of the movie when he talks about a dream is more than just a dream. The reason that he has this call is interrupting them right after she tells him all of this, and she's just revealed this darkness in her. This darkness is making their relationship more intimate, but he's not prepared to hear it. And so he interrupts the situation with a call. The call is a message saying that this woman's father has died. So this is as if the patriarchal father has died. And so this is the moment he starts to fall in consciousness to have the experience that he can rise again. He says, I think I have to show my face. I have to go over there and show my face. So this movie is all about identity, masks,
So showing his face is about figuring out who he really is. Who am I?
This is the end of part 2. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, hype this video, subscribe, comment below. Stay tuned for part 3 coming soon.